There's different kinds of books that are necessary for studying Himalayan and Tibetan art. There's religious context, there's art history, there's iconography. Now, for art history, there's really a lot of books, but most of them are really about different collections, museum collections, private collections, and they're art catalogs for art exhibitions. And they're not really introductory. For Tibetan art, there's really only one book that I can strongly recommend, and that's Tibetan Religious Art. That's the title, Tibetan Religious Art. It's 2 volumes or 2 parts, and it's by Loden Sherab Dagyab Rinpoche, and that's Loden, L-O-D-E-N, Sherab, S-H-E-R-A-P or B, depending on the edition, and Dagyab, D-A-G-Y-A-B, which has several different pronunciations depending on what type of Tibetan language you're used to. Now, this is an older book. It was published in 1977. I believe it was Otto Harrasowitz out of Wiesbaden. But if you look around, I mean, I don't want to condone any kinds of criminal activity, but if you look around, I'm sure you can find a PDF of Volume 1 and Volume 2 of this publication. Now, what's special about it? Well, it's special because the author is special. The author is extremely well educated. That's his claim to fame. He's really well educated, a really nice person, and he knows his stuff. And he wrote this for I assume, for his own students. Now, the first volume has, I think, 4 sections. The first section is actually more about religious context. It's kind of an overview into why this art is created. So it goes into things such as Buddhism in general, the 3 jewels, refuge, the Tekpa Membar, Tekpa Chempo, and the Gyugi Tekpa, the foundational Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, and Vajrayana Buddhism. Section 2, he goes into early representations of the Buddha, the purpose of religious painting and religious sculpture. Who are the professional artists, and how are they trained? What are the dimensions and what are the general characteristics of symbolic ornaments? Again, statues and paintings. What are the sacred contents? What are the ceremonies? What are the consecration practices? What about religious worship and offerings, the physical offerings that are created? And what are the main schools of art in Tibet? Then for section 3, he goes into what are the different types of painting, what are the different types of sculpture, clay, metal casting, repoussé, what are the different alloys? Well, what about stonework? What about woodwork? And for paintings, he talks about the different kinds of scroll work and murals and the preparation for the different types of paintings that are done. And in section 4, section 4 is a little different because he actually goes into the history of the 16 great elders, sometimes called Lohan or Arhats. Actually, from the Tibetan point of view, they're elders because the translated word from Sanskrit is Neten, and Neten is a translated word for Stavira, and Stavira is a different word from Arhat. But in the West, we generally understand the elders from the point of view of kind of Western history of Chinese Buddhism, where in Chinese scholarship they kind of lump the Stavira and the Arhat together as Lohan, and so we as Westerners and English speakers have sort of picked up this habit from scholars studying Chinese Buddhism. Now there is a part 2 of this book, And part 2 is mostly the plates and the images of all of the different types of art that Loden Sherab is talking about in the first volume. So this book, I think, is really the most introductory. It covers the most subjects, and it is definitely the most useful, and definitely should be read by somebody interested in this field. It is a true introductory book written by somebody who actually understands the material. Also, in the footnotes, he will give Tibetan reference texts for where he is getting certain information on certain topics. So this is really invaluable information. So, Tibetan Religious Art, Volume 1 and 2, Loden Sherab Dagyab Rinpoche. And press the like button. You can subscribe. You can also ask questions. You can recommend a book for us to review or to give an opinion on. And you can also make a donation on the HAR website and really help us, because we are a not-for-profit. We're a 501c3, and we depend 100% on donations.